Hey, man, to all my Africans who are willing to go die for free, Putin is calling you to join his criminal enterprise mass murdering mission in Ukraine. So I know some of you guys are already volunteering on the Ukrainian side, and I'm sure some of you guys who actually love Putin and think whatever he's doing is right, you should start volunteering to go to Russia to get shipped to Ukraine to go kill yourself. That's what it is. And sadly, because our slave mentality is still there, and we cannot, in our own brain, think that this war is now our world, and we are volunteering ourselves. Although some of our brothers and sisters are being discriminated against by these same people, we are volunteering to go kill ourselves for the same people. So, hey, if you're that slow or mentally retarded and you want to be a slave for the rest of your life, go to Putin too. Putin is calling, so he has opened his missions. His foreign secretary, of defense secretary, all of them are aware that he's asking for foreigners to come and help him with his war. So you could go there as well, go die for free. That's what you want. Instead of you staying in your countries and helping develop your countries, help, especially for Nigerians, help in fight against Boko Haram and other terrorist organizations that are in your country, and people from the Burkina Faso, Mali. I'm just naming this country. I'm not sure if the civilians are volunteering to go there, but they also have issues in their countries and poverty. You could do something to what? Improve your life instead of taking yourself and sacrificing your life to go, die for free for the Russians or the Ukrainian for that matter. Yes, we pray for peace, but don't be stupid. Okay, guys, like I said, failure to plan is planning to fail. All right, look at this. Nigeria, right? One of the main oil producing countries in Africa, actually the largest oil producing country in Africa, right? Crude oil producing country in Africa failed to plan miserably. For instance, like recently there was on the news 2 days ago, actually a day ago, it was on the news that a train carrying passengers from one state to another state literally had to be like stopped in the middle of the forest. Passengers have to get out, stay like overstay, just waiting for fuel for them to get it on the train and go. First and foremost, how are you gonna leave from one state to another state without calculating to know how much fuel you need from one place to another place? And that's failing to plan. Also, how you can be one of the best or the biggest oil producing country in Africa, and yet we are suffering from oil, especially the country itself, not even the entire Africa, but the country itself. The citizens are suffering for oil every day. Now the crisis in Ukraine is not even helping at all. Come on, man, Africa. We need to plan. Failure to plan is planning to fail. All right, Congress just passed a bipartisan bill of a couple of $1 trillion for the budget, but then they included $13.6 billion towards Ukraine and the assistance of the Ukrainian people. It just makes me wonder. It's like the United States always find a way to like fund wars, right? US is like really good at funding wars, and then when you look around America, the poor people are dying from like things that we could fund as well. I mean, we spend so much money to sponsor a war where the poor people are dying, like Tupac once said. And it baffles me because, you look around in the hood, especially where some of us live, 13 point something billion will also be very, very helpful for the education system, the childcare system, prison reform, police reforms. I mean, the money could be used for so many things in the United States. But yet, when it comes to war, forget about it. America just go in and get the money, however it needs to be done, and just send it, sponsor the war. All right, when it comes to, Putin and Russia,
I think what Putin made a mistake is that, having nuclear weapon, having all these tanks cannot just win you a war. You need funding, you need money. And I'm not sure where he's getting his funding from. I know he has oil and there's a huge demand for oil right now. He's definitely gonna be getting, some money from China and all these other places. But would that be enough for him to sponsor this war against Ukraine? Now, with this stiff resistance from Ukrainian, is it even possible for him to actually conquer the entire country and be able to instill a government in there? Because now you're going for regime change. And we could, if any lesson that you could learn, the United States, the economy superpower and military superpower, could never, really change any regime from Iraq to Afghanistan to almost all the countries that they have been in, because it's expensive. Are you thinking about that? The Cold War wasn't won. The United States didn't win the Cold War because we had a lot of military might. Yes, that was part of it, but also it's because we knew how to control the economy. This concept of capitalism, free market, individual, empower individuals to make money out of every situation, including the Cold War itself. But right now in Russia, the money is circulated just among the few. America, at least, they go beyond and include other people and give you that notion that you could make it. So Russia, good luck. All right, guys, let's look at 3 reasons why some Africans are supporting Russia. 1, Russia is viewed as friends, not colonizers. They argue that Russia never once colonized any African country or never have a territory in Africa where they colonized. But, there's a lot of reasons to why Russia couldn't do that. But we could get into that in a separate video. 2, they also believe that during the time where African countries were fighting for independence, right, from the West, the colonizers, Russia, then USSR, also helped, many of these African leaders during their struggle for independence. They also, funded them militarily or give them money, and they did a lot of stuff for these African leaders during their time of struggle against the colonizers, the West. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is Russia has managed to have, in current day, have a lot of influence in many of their mining sector and security sector. So Russia, when you look at Russia, although Russia said we don't mingle with any country domestic affairs, Russia has paramilitary groups or mercenaries groups who is kind of controlled by the Russian government in their capital city there, that is pretty much sending them all around Africa, training African government, training African troops, and providing them military aid, selling them weapons that the West won't sell because the West will try to question why they want those weapons and why they're using those weapons. And Russia is like, don't ask, don't tell. We're gonna sell you what you want. Just give us the money, give us the access to your mining, your goals, and all these fresh mineral resources that we need. We will give you what you want. So those are 3 reasons why many African countries right now, or those who are not supporting Russia, those who are supporting Russia, those are some of the reasons why they are supporting Russia. So hey, stay tuned. We're gonna do those who are not supporting Russia, their reason as well. So if you like this, follow us, man. Let's do this. The 3 reasons why some Americans love Putin and keep supporting him regardless of what's going on. Now, let me give you these 3 reasons. Let's go. All right, reason number 1. Putin is viewed as the tough guy, right? He's a tough guy. He has that tough guy persona, that image, he's strong. He's a strong leader. He stands up against the weak American leaders, especially the Democratic leaders like Obama and Biden. Trump, on the other hand, it seems like he's strong against Putin, but then Democratic leaders seem like they're weak, or at least that's how the image the media projects. So a lot of Americans really do believe and buy into this. He seems as like the person who's tell the truth, like he's not afraid of the West. He could stand up and say what he wants and what he believes in. So he really, that strong guy image, he talks about, like the war in Yemen, the war in Syria, how the West has destroyed Iraq, Libya, and all these other places. Now he's standing up for what he believes in. So that image, like he's not afraid. He's an underdog, but he's standing up against the bully, which is the West. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, the Trump factor. I mean, believe it or not, Donald Trump and Putin, it seemed like they had a love affairs, right? He like admired, or Donald Trump used to admire Putin at some point, and that kind of like still plays in. Like Donald Trump is a very likable guy in the sense like he has a strong following base. Whether you agree with him or not, he has a strong following base, and those followers love him. So when he like express his love for someone, the followers follows. And this is what happened in the case of Putin. So when Donald Trump said he's a smart guy, he's a wise guy, call him to come and interfere into the American electoral stuff during the campaign season with Hillary Clinton and all that stuff. So, that love for Putin is still there in some people's heart. They still love Putin for that. And the political divide in the United States, because Trump has a vast majority also of people, his supporters, they're really divided. There's a lot of fraction in the American culture, or at least in American politics. So Putin rise above all that. And last but not least, I mean, we're looking at a well-established Russian cyber team that is doing whatever it takes to, give Americans a great image of their leader, Putin. So people actually, fall into these things like social media. Putin is seen as the tough guy and all that good stuff. So if you believe in what I'm saying, hey, follow. If not, make comments. Okay, so one of my viewers said that, some Americans love Putin, and I agree. And these are 3 reasons why some Americans love Putin and still supporting him today. Now, let's go. Reason number 1, Putin is viewed as the tough guy. He has the tough guy image, strong leader personality. He stands up against America, the West. He says as it is, he moves on. He's in control. He seems like he really knows what he's doing. And he also said the truth. He stands for the truth, whatever that means. He exposes the West hypocrisy when it comes to war in different countries, and how Western countries are manipulating the whole world, and for them to follow and destroy, and people are being bamboozled by the West. So Putin is that guy. So some people really do believe that. Some Trump supporters really do believe and respect Putin as well as a person. Because of the political divide also in the United States, Trump being like a Republican president, and we all know what happened with the election, and he still doesn't concede, like technically he still believes that he won the election, or whatever that means. So his supporters are still supporting Putin too. So when you look at Americans who are supporting Putin, majority of them are Republican, or those who consider themselves voting to support Trump. So Trump supporters still, most of them support Putin. Last but not least, Putin also has a very well-established cyber team that is feeding these people with all the information that they already believe or they want to believe. So this well-established cyber team is like doing whatever it takes to bring the political divide, also to give people the information that Putin is a great leader. He stands up against the West. He say as it is. He's the leader that the Democrat cannot be. President Obama was considered weak compared to Putin. President Biden today is weak compared to Putin. So Putin still has that, people look up to him. So guys, hey, keep supporting, keep the video going, man. Keep the comment coming. So like and follow the page. Let's go. Many of you guys are out there parading. This war is not an African war. The war in Russia, between Russia and Ukraine, is not an African war. We have no problem. It's okay. It's not ours. It's not our business. But let me tell you this. The harsh reality remains. This war is our business. Now, let me tell you. I know that many of you guys are going to be like, oh, no, it's our business because our people, the ordinary Africans, going to suffer because of this war. Do you know that Ukraine and Russia produces wheat and other food items that Africans depend on?
Because Africa, we don't focus on what really matters. We cannot feed ourselves. And now when global situation like this happen, we tend to say it's not our business. It is our business now. Whether we are for or against the war, we are supporting Russia, we are supporting Ukraine, or we are neutral, either way, it is our business now. Because our people are suffering. Our people are gonna suffer more. Everything prices are going up everywhere. You call Nigeria, prices in gas, gasoline, people can't move around easily anymore. And when prices in gas and fuel goes up, everything, it impacts everything in our countries. We all know that. And when that happens, the ordinary people will suffer. But my question is, why? Why always Africa? We haven't learned how to depend on ourselves. We call ourselves independent countries. We saw ourselves a sovereign continent. But yet, we could barely feed ourselves. We cannot, many of the countries cannot even feed themselves. Some countries, 90% of things that they use are all imported. Now this is what's gonna happen. Now that fuel prices are going up, every imported goods that are coming into the countries are gonna go up. Prices for everything gonna go up. Ordinary people gonna suffer because of this war. So how can that not be our problem? The only way that war will never be our problem in Europe and everywhere else is when we learn how to feed ourselves, how to become reliable, how to become self-dependent. And how we gonna do that? We have to invest in agriculture, in the youth, in the leadership that's gonna be able to drive to that independent. Without self-independent, without self-reliance on our own homegrown food, we're gonna remain dependent on the West forever. So this war is our problem. I thank you.